Good morning, good afternoon, or evening, whichever it may be, and thank you for turning in to the Truck Around and Find Out podcast, TAFO. I'm one of your co-hosts, Ryan Byers, the owner of Front Range Compliance Services, DOT University, and we're joined here with Keith Couch with Rush Truck Centers in Rocky Mountain, Peterbilt. Keith, thanks for joining with me again today.
Good morning.
I just want to take a minute. I feel like with the events that we have witnessed, since last week with Charlie Kirk and everything that's going on, I just wanted to do just a quick little moment where we can kind of sit down, share our thoughts, and with this situation about Charlie. And I know it profoundly impacted you and your family as it did mine, and want to say a few things.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it.
Okay. Perfect. So that get us there? I think this weekend, a lot of, not new people, but I think a lot of people were drawn back to the church, given what happened, and I think that's remarkable. But I felt a little let down this weekend with church, and I don't mean that in anything against the church or anything against Christianity itself, but we go typically to Flatirons down in Lafayette, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with that campus, but it's always been real remarkable. Jim, the lead pastor there, he's kind of been known as one of the conservative preachers, that kind of thing. His sermons most definitely aren't political by any means, but he's very much well known of just being a red-blooded American and believing in our rights, similar to like Charlie Kirk, but from more of the church standpoint. And we went in there and they didn't have, like they had just like a real quick like little prayer, and they just jumped right into their weekly, they always teach like a lesson like 5 to 6 weeks, and they stay on there with their topic of discussion. And they just kind of dove right back into like week 3 of this topic, and it was like, okay, little prayer, and then we moved right into this. And I think I was really expecting to hear, hey, today is going to be a message to the people to talk about what's going on in our world and kind of give us some guidance. And I just kind of walked away from church kind of let down. I kind of felt.
That's interesting because I go to Timberline up in Fort Collins. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah. I think the people were flocking back to the church in droves this weekend, and the church, I think, if this is what they did and they just stayed on their routine message, I think this would have been a really great week to grab those people and say, we're here for you. We understand what you're going through, and it's about the teachings, and maybe take a break from your weekly lessons, given the fact that a major situation just happened, and let's dive back into it. But
what you hear is this now, people saying, "Oh, we need more gun control," and everything. That's not what this was about. This had nothing to do with guns. This was ideology. He was killed for his ideology.
It was.
The little gal in North Carolina, she was killed with a knife. I mean, for no reason whatsoever. Yeah. Charlie Kirk was killed for his ideology and for speaking out. And it doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you're on with Charlie. The part that really bothers me is this isn't how we do it.
No.
I don't care if he was speaking out for the most liberal policies, and I thought completely disagreed with him on everything. I don't wish him dead, and I'm not going to help somebody. What do they say? Unalive him, So I don't wish that. That's not how we do it here. He has the right, no matter what he has to say, to go on campus, challenge me. He did. Regardless of what you think of him, he did it right.
Right.
He showed up. He had a debate. Proved me wrong, And I know people that have gone to those. They said they just like seeing the debate. Yeah. And they're from all political spectrums. They just like seeing the back and forth, and that's the way it's supposed to be done.
I feel like this whole situation is evil. In a situation.
Agreed.
The one thing that I've learned, like I wasn't a follower of Charlie Kirk. Like I didn't go to his podcast. I didn't like watch him like routinely, but I very rarely skipped a tweet, on X, or a post on Twitter, whatever, an X post. If it came up with Charlie Kirk, I almost always paused, stopped, I watched, and I was always blown away by the grace in for which he would present his argument. Mm-hmm. And his argument didn't come from, I guess sometimes it came from an angle of common sense and just dignity. I think dignity would be the biggest thing, but how he could relay his message and tie that to the teachings of Jesus, the text that is found within the Bible. But he could also speak almost as if he was close, knew, or somewhat in the minds of our founding fathers and their principles. And he had a way of just kind of laying this out to where the opposition, when they would talk with him, just had to pause and give a moment to think about what he was saying instead of just continuing on the same rant. And I think that's how Charlie, in what he did, reached and touched me inside. And I was just, I saw him as good. And to see the evil that has arose from, his assassination, and just to see the way, people are just dancing on the pride of theirs that he's dead, and they think that is such a good thing. It just makes me feel like we're lost, and as a nation. And I know we're not. I know we're bounding and we're coming back together. But I just, I'm still seeing arguments saying that, the right is perpetrating so much violence. And in the last 24 hours, they're actually starting to come out with statistics saying that the right is more violent, And I just say that I want to first off say that, there's no place for violence when it comes to political. We need to be able to listen to each other. But I'd like to see the stats. I'm tired of government leaders and officials just pointing a finger and saying, here's a stat. Show us what, there's violence. I sure haven't heard of political violence from the right. I've as of lately, I've seen a whole lot of crazy things happening in the world that, to me, it's more of a lack of love, the lack of believing in something greater than yourself, the lack of Jesus within the heart of some of these people. And I think that evil is just really showing its ugly face right now. Mm-hmm. And I don't care what side you're on. If this is your belief and you think that the answer is to go out and commit these atrocities, you need to pause and you need to really take a deep reflection into your life. And I hope we as a society are doing that now. Yeah,
and I heard a statistic, statistics, you can make them up on the spot if you want. I heard it on the radio, and I think it was the Glenn Beck show, and he said 25% of registered Democrats, 26%, I think, thought it was okay to assassinate Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
It's a real big problem.
That's a problem.
And I'm not, we have some amongst us on the other side of the table that I think the hatred just runs so deep that, on both sides, I think that there's a lot of people that are thinking ill of others and want to see people physically harmed. And I think it's when we as a community come together, I think that's time when we need to stop. If you're having those types of thoughts, that you need to stop and pause and really deep reflection in mm-hmm. yourself. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle that you're on. I think that we as a society have to embrace that this is not okay, and we need to hold those accountable that are saying these things, a hateful rhetoric. I think that the government, we have people within the government that are out and openly calling people Nazis and fascists, and that the behavior's just got to stop. They're using words to incite and to try to sway people's minds, but in this day and age, people are taking them for their face value, and I think some of these people truly believe that there are Nazis running around, like they truly believe that there's genocide going on, and it's not happening.
Well, and most people calling others fascists don't even understand the definition of the word fascist.
Yeah.
If you study World War II, the brown shirts, mm-hmm. They were dragging people out in the street and beating them to a pulp, making sure everybody saw it.
Yeah.
And they said, you either will get in line and think the way we do and operate the way we do, or you're next.
Yeah.
And the next time we have to show up for the guy we just beat up, he'll just disappear.
Yeah.
So that's a fascist.
It is. And I think that's probably some of my favorite videos and clips that I've seen with Charlie is when he takes that word and the person that is referring to him as the fascist ultimately has to just kind of swallow that word and say, oh, fascist is somebody that doesn't give me a microphone and 2 hours to come up and ask questions, and it's somebody that wants to silence. And there's really right now there is one group that is pushing silence, and I just want to say, I'm glad that some events have happened in the future, such as Elon taking over, getting Twitter, and giving a voice back to the people, because like it or hate it or love it or hate it, whatever you want to say, Twitter is open to everybody. You can get on there and you can speak your mind and without the censorship, that you're seeing with a lot of the other platforms. And I just looking at this situation, it hit me really hard. I was actually kind of had left to go to my physical therapy appointment, and I had gotten your text, to say about Charlie, and I just stopped right after you sent me that message. Holly, my wife, sent me the message also, and so I instead of looking at your post, I just instantly went straight to X, and I opened it up, and I mean the very first post was that close up of Charlie, and gosh, that you saw that hit, and you saw his reaction and just the blood, and it was just, my experience, especially in law enforcement, and growing up around firearms, I knew instantly that it was going to be just an absolute miracle if they could save him at that particular point. And I just, it hit me so deep and so hard. It's I think it's going to shake, or is currently shaking, our nation to the core and making us take a good.
Well, I think it woke a lot of people up.
Yeah.
And Andy Andrews talks about the tail wagging the dog.
Yeah.
We've got less than 1% of our population dictating policy and what should be happening, and the quiet majority of America are good, decent human beings, so they kind of tolerate it.
It is.
And I think you're going to see, at least how I feel, it's like, I'm done tolerating the tail wagging the dog. I'm done. I don't want any violence, but I'm not going to be, oh, well, okay, we'll just let that slide anymore. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I think that it's time for people to be held accountable. And when I say held accountable, I mean by, if somebody is out there and they are, in your face, or they're confronting you because they don't like you, that you're wearing a red ball cap, or they're, being the Karen that you see on the internet trying to correct you. I think we as a society just need to look at these people and say, enough, we're not going to tolerate that. And I'm not saying that we need to get violent with them. I think we need to be like Charlie Kirk and use our words and take the high ground and let these people be seen for who they actually are, for the hatred and the rhetoric that they're truly showing right now. And we need to all, use our words and try to live the lifestyle and try to be like Charlie in his day to day.
And Kelly and I this morning, we prayed for Charlie's family, his wife, his little girls, and his parents. Yeah. I mean, so there's a family that's wrecked. We also prayed for the shooter's family, because the father did the right thing. Man, I can't imagine how hard that must have been for him. But, Utah's obviously probably going to go after the death penalty on this kid. And, so there's another family that's grieving, and they'll never be the same.
No, absolutely.
So, and it's to no fault of theirs.
Yeah.
Father did the right thing, and now he's going to lose his son.
He is.
Mother's going to lose her son, and brothers and sisters.
Yeah, and they had lost their son, kind of already to the rhetoric and to the hate and to that, and that was the pill that they were forced to swallow. I think deep down they I don't think anybody really had realized how far gone this person was
And
at.
from what I understand, it was from one semester of college.
One semester. Yeah, and I think that the one of the huge things, I've been glued to this, since the incident. I just, if I have a minute to sit down and to watch some of the news, looking at the people that are coming forward in this community and talking about it, and I think that it has most definitely exposed our our institutions. And it is not just colleges. I think that's the part that blows me away. I mean, we're starting as small as elementary school. We're ingraining these philosophies, and hiding the true history of the United States. And, we're indoctrinating these children at a very, very young age. And it's just remarkable that Charlie gave a platform for those that were being swallowed up by the system to actually come forward and actually be proud about their beliefs and stand against this. And I think that Charlie has touched the hearts of many of the youth of today. And I think that, the fact that they have martyred him, I believe that, his voice, his message is going to be more loudly heard now than ever. And we're already seeing that, with people coming out and the information that's coming out about the educational institutions, and the indoctrination. And I'm starting to see leaders amongst some of these communities on the Democrat Party that are trying to step up and create a void to say, hey, this is not our belief. This is not how we want to react to this, and trying to give a new position. But the true hierarchy of the Democrat Party, to me, just seems like they're still hiding behind their statements, and they just...
Well, the majority of Democrats are moderates.
Yeah.
They just are. I don't agree with them on everything, but at least they'll sit down and talk, and there's moderation. But the Democratic Party better get a hold of the left, the far left, the progressives. Yeah. They better get a hold of them.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, because they're making them look bad.
Yeah. Well... To Charlie and his family, first off, Charlie, thank you for what you did for our country, for our youth, our generation, giving us a light to kind of go through and follow. And, I will never forget you. I believe that in 10 years, people are going to ask me where I was the day that you were assassinated. I'm going to remember that just like I did 9/11 or any other major event in my life. You had profoundly impacted me and my beliefs and given me a goal of the way to handle, the way to speak to people, and to talk about these topics. And, you paid an ultimate sacrifice, and my prayers definitely go out for your wife and your children and the rest of your family and friends. And I know that they just absolutely have to be going through a terrible time. And, with that, I would love to just like to be more like you and follow in your footprints and be Charlie Kirk with my day-to-day activities. So,
amen. Yeah, quite a life for a 31-year-old.
Yeah, definitely was. Well, thank you for tuning into this episode of Truck Around and Find Out. We'll hope that y'all are moving forward safely. Thank you to this trucking community for the work that you do to bring us our everyday commodities, and hopefully today can be a little bit safer out there on the roadway. And we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you, guys. God bless you.